What is going on, sports fans? It is your host, Matt Bellman from the DFS 5-Pack, rocking it solo, April 21st. Hopefully everyone had a great Friday night. What a slate that was. Overwhelming, you could say, just because of how many options there were. Happy to be in the weekend. Looking forward to these double slates we got today. Normally, we'll only cover the main slate on Saturdays and Sundays, but I was kind of feeling it this morning, so wanted to pump out some content on the early slate. Instead of doing a members only and public video for the early slate, I'm just going to make one video. So all you non-members, first off, what are you waiting for? You'll be able to see what we do on a slate-by-slate basis for our members. After this, I'll get to the write-up for our members for the early slate. And then this afternoon, we'll do all the normal stuff we usually do for the main slate. I'll do a public video, then a members only, and then the write-up will be out at normal time. So looking forward to a nice day of reviewing DFS stuff. I like this early slate quite a bit. I think there's a few different ways to go. Got some BVP on this slate, so let's dive in. Screen share this. I'm gonna go position by position here, just because I think it's easiest on this slate. So starting at the top, and all you guys who know me, I'm a GPP player. If I think someone's cash, GPP playable, I'll specify. But normally, I'm speaking of GPPs because that's what I play. Starting at the top for pitchers, Carlos Martinez. I don't know how you get away from Martinez here in either format. In cash games, you got to lock him in because he's going to be so popular. And in GPPs, his upside is real here against a Reds team that just is garbage. Look what he just did at Cincinnati on the 15th in his last start. Seems to be alternating every other start with dominance and average stuff in between those. But we know who this guy is. He's not an elite pitcher, but he's definitely the best pitcher on this slate, and he's easily the best DFS pitcher because of the K upside. I like Nola a lot. Nola is not as good as Carlos Martinez yet. The matchup for Martinez is cake. I don't see how you get away from Martinez here. The only rational case I can make for getting away from him in GPPs is because he's going to be popular. But I can't do it because I like him a lot. The 30-plus upside is real here, and I don't think there's a legit drop-down option. There's no one else on the slate I really want to roster. Matter of fact, I don't love Martinez all like that. Cincinnati's gotten him before. But on this slate today, you just roll with Martinez. Now, Aaron Nola. I like Nola, but I don't really like this matchup. I know we saw Jake Arrieta dominate Pittsburgh the other night, but Nola's a different type pitcher, and Arrieta was just awesome. He was just flat out cooking. Nola doesn't have that same type stuff. Pittsburgh doesn't strike out a lot. They're a team we really try to avoid. Do I hate it on this slate? No, because after Martinez, I think a lot of the guys are all clumped together, and he is the best pitcher of this group. But I can't get on board with paying 10-6 for him today in a matchup we just really don't like. I like Clevenger here. I specifically like Clevenger in GPPs. I don't think many people are going to go there. Most people won't want to spend over 10K on him. I don't want to spend over 10K on him. But on this slate, like everything else, it's slate dependent, and I think the matchup's really good with Baltimore here. We've seen the Indians really struggle offensively, so their pitching staff has really had to carry the load. I think we see that again today with Clevenger. Facing Tillman here, big favorites, in line for the win. We never play for the win, but it's always really nice if you think you're going to get it. Clevenger should get a win here. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but huge favorites. I like Clevenger here. I think you could do worse for sure. Danny Duffy. Do I hate Duffy here? No, and that's kind of a trend on this slate. There's not many guys I hate. I think a lot of guys are in play, albeit I don't love any of them. I think Duffy's in play here, but I'm not necessarily trying to pick on this Detroit offense right now. I know Detroit's bad, and they're not going to finish with a good record, but their offense is hitting right now, and they got some righties in that order, specifically some righties that have gotten to Duffy in the past. Victor Martinez has serious BVP off him. He's 15-39 with 3 bombs. I know Victor used to be much better than he is now, but he's actually hitting well. And if he's getting you, then you got problems with this Detroit order. So I don't hate Duffy here, and I like the drop down from Clevenger to him. So salary dependent, I could have more interest here. Not a guy I'm running to, I'll tell you that. Marcus Stroman, I don't think you can choose Stroman here in New York. He hasn't been that good this year at all. By not that good, I mean he's been average at best. We don't like to go into New York. Some guys have really good numbers off him. No for Stroman. Montgomery, I think Montgomery will be popular here. I think you can use Montgomery in cash because he's going to be popular. But in GPPs, I like to pivot off for sure. I like the fade of Montgomery here. Toronto's just swinging a hot bat. I know they're missing Donaldson, so they're missing their big right-handed bat. But these guys are just hot right now. Came out of the gate much better than people thought. Morales back in the lineup. My boy Teoscar Hernandez straight killing it, who we'll get into in a little bit. This lineup has a little bit of depth to it, so I'm not rushing towards Montgomery by any means. Mike Fiers, as much as I hate this, Fiers is a guy I'm looking hard at. I like Fiers here. The thing I like about Fiers is he's got strikeout upside in this matchup, even though Kansas City doesn't strike out that much. And when I say strikeout upside, I mean for 7K, he should get 6 Ks. Do I think that's amazing? No, but I like that for this price range. The Royals are just bad. Are they a team we like to target? No, but on this slate, Fiers, is only 7,200. I'm not a big Fiers guy, and I know he can get blown up, and Ryan's probably going to laugh when he sees this because I loved picking on Fiers last year, and I'm sure he's going to get a nice recollection of that when I'm speaking right now. But today, like I say, slate dependent on this slate, I like Fiers here, and I think matching him up with Carlos Martinez makes a lot of sense if you want to get a lot of bats. The last three, I can't do it. Homer Bailey, I will always look to play bats against him, so no. Steven Brault, just no. Just hasn't looked that good since his first start against Cincinnati, and that was against Cincinnati, so can't go there. Probably have some interest in some Philly right-handed bats. Of course, Rhys Hoskins in play. And then Chris Tillman, perhaps the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball. So as bad as the Cleveland bats have been right now, I find it hard not to use a couple of them. So with that being said, let's dive into bats. So at catcher, I think there's a couple ways to go. The top option is easily Molina. If you can fit Molina in, you plug him in. Not only is he the best option this year, he absolutely owns Homer Bailey. He's 17 at 42 with 3 bombs off Bailey. Take that to the bank. If you can get Molina in, play him. After Molina, if I'm not spending for Molina, I'm probably going to drop down all the way to a James McCann, who we know is a lefty masher, batting in the 7th spot today. Has been good recently. Look at that game log. He's got 41 points in his last 4 games, over 10 a game, obviously. We'll take that every day of the week, twice on Sundays. Give me some McCann if I can't go all the way up to Molina. First base is interesting here. I think there's obviously a few ways to go. E5 has some nice numbers off Tillman, and Cleveland's obviously enticing. He's 18 of 60 with 4 homers off of Tillman. So if you want to go to E5, I completely get it. He's expensive, but we can afford it here. Yonder Alonso, I think, is a nice pivot. He's averaging more points than E5 this year. A lefty bat. Don't mind Alonso at all. Can't play Votto right now. He just doesn't look good to me, and I'm not playing him in this matchup. Miguel Cabrera in play. Loves day games. Playing well right now. You saw that 30 in the 2 games on the 18th and 19th. Cooled down a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit got to Duffy here. Am I running there? No, but do I hate it? Definitely not. Jose Martinez for sure in play for me against Homer Bailey. Just ultra consistent. Probably a better cash game play, but again, it's all the same if he gets you points, right? Steve Pearce, definitely in play here at first or second, batting leadoff today against Montgomery. We like using Pearce against lefties. Pinch hitting possibility is there for sure, but he should get at least a few at bats, and hopefully he can do some damage in them. Kendrys Morales, sign me up. I like this Toronto offense, specifically in GPPs. I like going against Montgomery here. I think that's a nice alternative contrarian way to rise against the field. And after 2 for 5 last night with a double, 38 DK points in his last 3 games. Give me some Morales here for sure. Victor Martinez, I just read you guys the BVP. He absolutely mashes against Danny Duffy, and no one's going to go there. So he's in play for me. All right, second base. Cesar Hernandez, rock solid cash game guy. I mean, look at his game log. He's GPP playable right now. Nice price. You want to go to Cesar? Fully get it here. Kip. I like Kipnis here as a nice cheaper part of the Indians offense. It's been awful so far, hitting 174, no bombs, but at some point that'll get going. GPP one-off for me as a part of the stack. Rock solid guy here, Matt Carpenter against Homer Bailey. No issues with Matt Carpenter here at all. And actually, if I recall, pull the BVP real quick. Yeah, he's 18 to 36 against Bailey. I thought it was something crazy like that. So you can just go ahead and lock that Carpenter in. After even looking at the numbers the Cardinals have off Bailey, they're hitting close to 400 off him in 146 at bats, and a lot of that damage is done by Carpenter and Molina. Give me some Carpenter for sure. After that, I'm playing Carpenter here. It's just what it is. You can play Carpenter at third also, but there's another guy I like a lot at third is where I want to get my Indians exposure. All right, so starting at the top, yeah, I like Jose Ramirez a lot here. He's one guy who he hasn't been as good as last year, but the power's there. The average isn't, but 4 homers. This could be a nice jump-off point for the Indians. I worry that they'll be really popular, but people are also, probably thinking how I am, how they just haven't been that good. So I doubt they get too much love with the Yankees in play, but I think they're in play here. It's tough to run a full stack on them, but Jose Ramirez is a guy I have interest in if you want to run a mini stack or as a one-off. Kingery in play here. A lot of these Phillies guys are in play, and Kingery is no exception, a righty against Brault. Give me some Kingery if you want it. Solarte, in play. Look at how he's playing right now. 45 DK points in his last 3 games, 15 a game. You want to go to Solarte. I completely get it. He's a guy I'm going to have a lot of GPP interest in. Obviously, Carpenter's here if you want to go to Carpenter at third. Our boy, the Candyman, switch hitter, obviously cooled off a little last night. Cooled off after, the game we rode him hard against Baltimore. He's only 1 for his last 8. Do I hate this here? No, but might be up here after going 1 for his last 8. I don't think Andahar is crazy in a Yankee stack. I think you can obviously do worse there. He's actually swinging a really nice bat right now. So talk about doing worse. Andujar is fully in play. Homers and back-to-back games. Real nice part of a Yankee stack. Yeah, the more I look at Andahar, it's hard not to go here simply by looking at his game log. I mean, really, what more do you want? If this guy was 5K, that game log would be really impressive. He's under 3K. So at 2.9K, I think you just lock in Andahar here, unless you obviously want to go Ramirez as part of a stack. There's definitely options all around here. So third base for me, just in a nutshell, I like Solarte a lot, and he's GPP viable for me for sure. Other than that, I think you're going all the way at the top to Ramirez, or you're going down to Andahar. Andahar's got to be the guy in cash games, and in GPPs, he just makes a ton of sense. Shortstop, you've got the top 3 guys. The top 3 guys I'm really interested in. Machado is red hot right now. We called him out nice last night. He was a hard GPP recommend. Just look at his game log right now. 67 DK points in his last 3 games. Absolutely crushing. You want to go Machado. No issues there. Didi, great piece of the Yankees lineup. I don't like paying this much for Didi, but the Yankees are really interesting here, and if you stack the Yankees, it's hard to leave out Didi. If I was going a one-off, I'd probably go Machado over Didi, but both firmly in play. And then Frankie is definitely in play against Tillman here. More I look at it, probably have more interest in the other 2 guys, but a little Lindor Ramirez stack makes a lot of sense against Tillman here. If you want to drop down, Aledmus Diaz, again, another Blue Jay, I think this is firmly in play. Obviously, the average isn't there yet, but hits the long ball, and at 3.4 gives you a nice upside there. Looking at outfielders, again, a lot of outfielders in play here. Let's start at the top with Aaron Judge, who has a little bit of ownership on Stroman. He's 6 of 14 with 3 bombs. I think he's the first guy you plug into your Yankees stack. Rhys Hoskins facing a lefty, yes, please. Giancarlo Stanton coming off a bomb last night. Looks to maybe be getting it going a little bit. That's all you need from him in play. I like the top 2 guys better, but he's in play. Can't go to Castellanos here over the other 2. I just think Judge is in a much better spot, and I think Judge and Hoskins are in much better spots, so I'll find the money to get there. Tommy Pham, yes, please. Give me some Tommy Pham against Homer Bailey. Great piece of a St. Louis stack. Really the most expensive piece, but firmly on board there. Brett Gardner, yes. Ozuna, another great piece of the Cardinals against Homer Bailey. Firmly on board there. Starling Marte is not the craziest one-off. My problem here is there's just so many outfielders I like. He's awesome, but facing a really good pitcher, so I probably won't go there. Do I hate it? No, because Marte is really priced down today, but that's kind of for good reason. Michael Brantley, rock solid piece of an Indian stack. Hard to one-off because normally doesn't have that much power. I know went yard against the Twins the other night, but he's not going to hit too many home runs this year. And as a one-off, you're kind of looking for that, at least the upside of that. Is he horrible? No, because he's a professional hitter, but I like him more in a stack and or in cash games. Looking for, I was going to say Duvall isn't the craziest one-off. He's 5 for 12 off Martinez. I just like too many guys, so it's hard for me to go there. Fowler should be in batting leadoff today. Rock solid. Leonis Martin, after that monster game, he went 0 for 4. I have trouble going back there against at least a decent pitcher in Duffy. Pilar in play for me as a contrarian play in GPPs. I think the Yankees are going to be popular. Indians should be popular. And speaking of Yankees, Aaron Hicks, at 3,300, batting 5th. Hard not to have some Hicks exposure here. Just a really good play. Teoscar Hernandez, lock him in. Been waiting to get here. One of my favorite players. I love him. I don't get why he was so cheap. He's been so cheap. He's so cheap now. Look at the game log. 22, 5 in a down game, 36. He balled for us last year in a similar situation. I wonder what's going to happen when Donaldson calls back up because there ain't no way they can send this kid back down. He needs to play. As many moves as Houston's made recently, that's been awesome. Dealing Teoscar for Francisco Liriano is not one of them. If he was batting higher, I'd have interest in Lourdes Gurriel, but since he's batting 9th, no thank you. Jacoby Jones, this is a nice sleeper here. Look at how he's played the last 3 games. He hit a walk-off home run in the early game yesterday. Nice momentum. 3 straight double-digit games. I think you could do worse than Jacoby Jones here. Batting 6th, I got interest. All right, guys. That's what I got for you this morning. Let me stop this screen share. Again, if you want more content, more videos, more advice, more write-ups, someone to talk to, sign up for the DFS 5-pack today. We're crushing it. One of my buddies took down a GPP last night, to an NBA GPP. So, we're crushing it on a daily basis, pumping out winners every day. I know last night's slate was huge and a little bit overwhelming. Nice little double slate today. Both pretty nice, both with a bunch of different ways to go, being that they're smaller slates. So I think we got some ways to crush it here. For all of my members, write-up will be out in about an hour-ish, and then we'll get diving into the main slate stuff. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great Saturday.